1 month from today, Micah will be at AT&T Stadium playing in a Packers uniform. Have you allowed yourself to think about that, and what are you expecting that night to be like for you when he plays on Sunday Night Football against your team?
Obviously, we have to play a lot of players that we play, when I say play them, we compete on the teams that they're on after they leave the Cowboys. It's free agency. That's what happens. Micah will be problematic, very problematic. I'd suggest that we get ahead and run the ball.
How about them Cowboys?
Angry Cowboys fan, are you down to ride? Angry Cowboys fan, are you down to ride? Drop a like on the video, go ahead and subscribe.
What's going on, Cowboys Nation and angry Cowboys fans around the world? Y'all know who it is. It's your man, the Angry Cowboys fan. And here we are, Cowboys Nation, 6 days away from the season opener against the defending Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles. And the headlines are all about Jerry Jones trading Micah Parsons to the Green Bay Packers. How the Dallas Cowboys traded a generational talent to a rival team within the NFC. Though this is a huge blow for Cowboys Nation, it could also be a silver lining to this move that could help the Dallas Cowboys in ways Micah Parsons just could not. While listening to what Jerry Jones had to say during his press conference after trading Micah Parsons, a part of me feels a little bit better about the trade, having me feel that this could be a move that is addition by subtraction for the Dallas Cowboys. Y'all know how bad I am when I hold Jerry and Stephen Jones in that front office accountable. Maybe this move is the gambler and his Cowboys going against the grain, being that maverick everyone is clamoring for Jerry Jones to be. So we're going to take a listen to the 3 clips that I got for y'all, and y'all know what we're going to do after that. We're going to come back and unpack this raw and uncut. So, angry Cowboys fans, let's take a listen to what the gambler himself had to say.
I firmly made a commitment to Micah this spring, and paid him, and to pay him. At that time, I was battling and knew that the other alternative probably was. I had no idea of what we might be able to get, but I knew that it was very likely to be several players that we could use those resources for all the way, draft picks as well as cap space. And so that was on our mind. The minute that we saw that we were quite possibly were going to have an issue about whether or not we could do a contract or not, that gave us time, that gave us imagineering. That coupled with bringing in a new coach and bringing in a new staff, we felt it fit for us to have more players, more excellent players, if we do a good job of acquiring those players, plus have a team this year that would give us a better chance, dare I say that? But absolutely, it's not a zero that we're dealing with as far as how much better that we were trying to be, even not having Micah.
You know, Cowboys Nation, there are fans out there that are saying that Micah had a legit contract offer from Jerry Jones and that it was binding and Micah should have taken said contract. If you have ever been in contract negotiations with a corporation or an organization, the only way that they will even speak to you is if your representation is there in the building with you. If you're not represented, then they have all rights to speak to you. Once you get that attorney or agent or manager and so on talks with the client is off limits. We should know that, and Jerry Jones and David Mulugheta absolutely know this as well. So there is no justification in Jerry Jones talking directly to Micah Parsons if this was an ideally ran football club. But seeing that Cowboys Nation is used to Jerry bucking the system, it's okay for him to do so. The only thing it does is reaffirm, in his mind, that he's above the rules. My question is that if you were battling wanting to pay Micah Parsons back in the spring, why didn't you pull the trigger on the trade before the draft so you could get help for this team this year, Jerry? But jumping into the second clip, Stephen Jones gives his 2 cents about the press conference and the topic that they're talking about. So let's take a listen so we can come back and talk about it. Let's go ahead and roll that clip.
Kenny Clark was a big part of this, and that was a part of winning right now. And we feel like when you look at, the frustration is we hadn't been able to win the big game in the playoffs, and we think it is a direct connection to not being able to stop the run. And we think Kenny Clark's going to be a big piece to that. And we felt like because of our depth on the edge, as well as the ability to be able to scheme pressure, that we could make up for Micah, because obviously he's elite at rushing the passer, that we could make up for that. And then in addition to it, as Jerry said so well, is we do now have 2 ones in each draft over the next 2 years, and nothing says we can't use one of those to improve the team this year, which we wouldn't rule out this year.
He's saying things that could help the team, that stopping the run could help the team in the playoffs. You know what else could help the team in the playoffs? Having a run game, Stephen Jones. How about you look into that and get us a great player over here in the backfield? But he talks about a move that was all about winning right now, but how the hell is a first-round draft pick in the 2027 draft winning right now? Yes, you have 4 number 1 draft picks in the next 2 years, but y'all know damn well that you're not going to put those out there to help the team this year. The Dallas Cowboys also has the salary cap dollars that they would have paid Micah Parsons. Do you think that Jerry and Stephen Jones will do anything noteworthy with those cap dollars this year? Only time will tell, Cowboys Nation. But jumping into the third clip, a reporter asked Jerry Jones what he would say to the fans that are hurting, frustrated, or confused about the decision to trade Micah Parsons. So let's go ahead and take a listen to that so we can come back and unpack this raw and uncut.
What do you have to say to the fans who may be really frustrated, upset, confused by this decision?
Well, I would like for them to look at a lot of what we've talked about here. And that's why I'm saying what I'm saying here, because I want them to be interested and involved in looking at it. This was a move to get us successful in the playoffs. This was a move to be better on defense, stopping the run. This was a move to, if we get behind, not be run on. And it was a deliberate move, a well-thought-out move to make this happen. The other thing that I would say is that we have a chance to get a minimum of 3, and it could very easily be as many as 5. Really top players. And you've got to look at 3 to 5 to 1 over who's going to help you win the most. And it was strictly that, because it's not only the draft picks that you have as currency, but is the available cap room. And we can take that available cap room that we were going to use with Micah, and we can pay 3 to 5 players with that we wouldn't have been able to pay.
Cowboys Nation, after listening to this press conference, I must say, I get it. I get why they traded an elite pass rusher, but let's talk about it, Cowboys Nation. Y'all ready for this raw and uncut? Y'all ready? Let's get it. Get ready for the Angry Cowboys fans, raw and uncut.
Man, keeping it real, man, keep it real, that's real.
All of this has been extremely messy. The way things were conducted within this entire thing has been extremely messy, Cowboys Nation. The way Jerry Jones conducted negotiations without Micah Parsons' agent being present, but also the way Micah Parsons was entertaining it and going along with it was extremely messy. It's kind of like a man getting hit on by a female and getting text messages from that female who really likes him. But bro's married, but he won't stop the advances from this other female, and then his wife caught on. When she looked through his phone and found his pics, he pointed the finger at the mistress and said, "I never wanted those pics. Oh man, I didn't give her my number. How did she get my number?" I swear, Cowboys Nation, it's crazy. But also, Cowboys Nation, I've had fans try to convince me that the way Jerry Jones went about courting Micah Parsons was all on the up and up. The up and up for who? Jerry Jones? If everything was on the up and up, Jerry would have had no problem starting the negotiations over with David Mulugheta's request, seeing that all the negotiations were behind David Mulugheta's back. If everything was on the up and up, Jerry would have negotiated the terms that he did with Micah Parsons with Micah and David Mulugheta present. Why didn't that happen, Cowboys Nation? Some people say greed, other people say guilt. He knew that there was some verbiage and some dialogue in that contract that David Mulugheta wouldn't have approved of, so he didn't want him involved. All I'm saying is that just because Cowboys fans are used to the antics that Jerry Jones does, it doesn't constitute them as great football business moves anywhere else. One thing that I've noticed is when there's a move that's made, Cowboys Nation is always split. It's either too much or absolutely nothing at all. Some fans feel this trade is going to yield no positive outcomes, while other fans are jumping up and down. They're jumping for joy, thanking Jerry Jones for finally getting rid of Micah Parsons. If you're in the middle with your feelings, no matter what, you're dead wrong. Well, I'm here to tell you, Cowboys Nation, I'm smack dab in the middle of this entire thing. I hate the fact that sneakiness and shadiness was involved in this situation, and when it was caught and not reciprocated, egos became a factor on both sides of the fence. I also understand the logic behind this trade. I actually said something about the phrase that gets tossed around more than the word love, and that's generational when it comes to the talent coming in or in the NFL right now. This person's a generational talent. That person's a generational talent. How many generational talents can there be within a 2-year span, Cowboys Nation? Caleb Williams is a generational talent, and then a year after him, Travis Hunter is a generational talent. I thought a generational talent was once a generation, Cowboys Nation. Is Micah Parsons a great player? Absolutely. Micah Parsons is elite, there's no doubt about it. Is he generational? Not quite, Cowboys Nation. But I believe there's a such thing as transformational talent. So you have generational talent, and then you have transformational talent. One comes around ever so often, while the other comes around more often. Patrick Mahomes, generational talent. Jalen Hurts, transformational talent. Micah Parsons, transformational talent. Lawrence Taylor, generational talent. A generational talent will change the entire landscape of your team, while a transformational talent can only change the landscape of one side of the ball or their position group. Micah Parsons is an elite pass rusher and will be an elite pass rusher for the Green Bay Packers, but when you have to question if he can be the difference maker in the game, then the generational tag does not apply. I've seen fans throwing Micah Parsons' playoff stats around. Are those playoff stats the stats of a generational talent? You be the judge, Cowboys Nation. But there was a reason why Jerry Jones said what I put at the beginning of this video. Teams found out that if you run the ball at Micah Parsons, he becomes just another pass rusher. That's not the case with a Myles Garrett. Offensive coordinators are doing everything to run away from Myles Garrett. They run towards Micah Parsons. So if the Dallas Cowboys have a plethora of pass rushers, but no one to really help stop the bleeding in the interior of that defensive line, why not trade the defensive lineman that looks to be getting $47 million for a great veteran to help with that interior defensive line? You can get the best pass rusher ever, but if your opposing offense just keeps handing off the ball, what good is your defense if you can't stop the run? I understand the Cowboys fans wanted to pay Micah Parsons while adding elite players beside him in that interior of the defensive line, but sometimes you got to make harsh decisions, Cowboys Nation. I remember hearing a lot of Cowboys fans talk about how Jerry Jones lost his edge, how he isn't the maverick that he was back in the day, how he used to be the gambler and doesn't do those types of moves anymore. Well, he just gambled Micah Parsons away. He just did something that people have been asking him to do for years. Remember, scared money don't make money. All I'll say about the trade is that Jerry Jones copped out way too early. I wouldn't have just settled for 2 first-round picks and a player. I would have gotten 2 first-round picks, a 3rd-round pick to recoup for the George Pickens pick that we gave away, and a defensive tackle, Kenny Clark. I'm sorry, Cowboys Nation, but if you're an elite pass rusher, Jerry and Stephen Jones settled, and that sucks. You didn't maximize what you could have received for an elite pass rusher, and that's what makes me irritated. But I remember that video where Jerry Jones was talking to Kevin Demoff, the Los Angeles Rams president, where he was saying that he wouldn't have had the balls to make the trade like the Rams did with Jared Goff.
And I don't have the balls to put it all out there the way y'all did on that quarterback. I won't do that. Let's go up here where we can see about it. Yeah.
Honestly, Cowboys Nation, this trade has that same magnitude. This was a ballsy decision by Jerry and Stephen Jones. Then I take a look back and then I ask myself, if I had to choose between an elite pass rusher or a great run-stopping defensive front, I'm going to pick the great run-stopping defensive front each and every time. What good is it paying an edge rusher $47 million a year to get 12.5 sacks a year when you just acquired a player who gets 10.5 sacks with the Commanders and makes about $38 million less? I know Dante Fowler Jr. isn't starting caliber in the league and he's not Micah Parsons, but damn, he can get you 10.5 sacks. And I know some Cowboys fans don't want to hear it, but these are the facts, Cowboys Nation, and the Cowboys might not be as bad as some would think now that Micah Parsons is a cheesehead. And now, according to SpotTrack, the Dallas Cowboys have approximately $42 million in salary cap dollars to play with this year. This could certainly get players like Deron Bland or George Pickens signed, and contrary to popular beliefs, George Pickens isn't represented by David Mulugheta. George Pickens is represented by Trevor Smith of Athletes First, so there may not be the issue in signing him that Cowboys fans think. Trevor Smith also represents seatbelt Kalen Carsons. So Cowboys Nation, it's time to get over being mad about the entire Micah Parsons trade and move on with the season. We don't have the contract hold-in distracting the players in the locker room now. The ones who were worried about Micah Parsons' podcast, you don't have to worry about that anymore. As far as the players, no one is above the star right now, and maybe, just maybe, this move could be better for the team in the long run. Now, if it was an elite defensive player that played at edge, then I would have wanted to pay him. If Jerry and Stephen Jones would have paid Micah, hey, I would continue to be on board. I love Micah Parsons. They decided not to pay him and they traded him. That's not going to be the end-all be-all for me as a Dallas Cowboys fan either. I was a fan before Micah Parsons came and put on that star, and I'm screaming DC for life while he's screaming Go Pack Go. I wish him the best. I wish him the best in his career, and I chuck up the deuces. It's been real, Micah Parsons, but the show must go on. This has been your man, the Angry Cowboys fan. Cowboys Nation, do you feel where I'm coming from in this whole video? Are people overreacting when it comes to Micah Parsons not being on the team anymore? Is it overreacting due to the fact that people believing that Micah Parsons was a leader of this team and the Cowboys won't have those 12.5 sacks a year to bank on? Y'all know how we do. We always talk about it in the comment section. If you're digging this content and want to help the channel reach its milestone of 20,000 subscribers, drop a like on this video and please consider sharing it with anybody that you know is a Dallas Cowboys fan. If you are DC for life and continue to scream DC for life no matter who comes and who goes to this team, hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell to be notified whenever I go live, release a video, podcast episode, film breakdowns, or Madden 26 or College Football 26 gameplay. Micah Parsons was a huge part of this defense. I get it, Cowboys Nation. But with the money that his trade gives the Dallas Cowboys, you can attain great players across the board instead of one elite player, a great defensive tackle, and the rest question marks across the defensive line. But this has been your man, the Angry Cowboys fan, and I'm out. Dang, Angry Cowboys fan, you done made it through the entire video. But if you want more content, you can definitely go to this video right here. Or if you want the latest episode of the Angry Cowboys Fan Podcast, you can go right here. But whatever you do, like, share, and subscribe to the channel, but remain DC for life.